Oh man, a little trade drama llama news. One of the best wide receivers in the NFL, DeAndre Hopkins, is on the trade block. Should the Jets make a move? Jets, 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 Jets! Welcome to Jets Talk. My name is Ryan. I'll be your pilot. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. Boys and girls, we are talking a very fun topic. This is one of the best receivers in the NFL, DeAndre Hopkins, possibly hitting the trade market with Cliff Kingsbury being fired over there. The new GM is going to be able to have the opportunity to move on from DeAndre Hopkins if they want, because he's rumored to want some more money. From Jordan Schultz, sources, Arizona Cardinals plan to try and trade All-Pro DeAndre Hopkins this offseason. D-Hop has 2 years and $34 million left on his contract and is likely to seek a new deal. Owner Michael Bidwell plans to express this to GM candidates. So they mentioned the deal. If DeAndre Hopkins gets traded, his current contract would be $19.5 million this year, $14.9 million in 2024, none of which are guaranteed. So my guess is he's going to want his guaranteed money first and foremost. So even if you were to just say, hey, we're going to guarantee you the next 2 years, I think at the very least, that's the bare bones you could do. But he's probably going to want a little bit more than that because of some of the top contracts that we've seen signed from receivers in recent years. Tyreek Hill last year signed an annual average of $30 million a year. Devontae Adams last season had $28 million a year. Hopkins, while he was on his Arizona contract with his signing bonus and everything, $27 million a year. And then you have Kupp, Brown, Diggs, Metcalf. Obviously, with no guaranteed money left, you're going to want to try and get as much as you can. DeAndre Hopkins is 31 years old. This is probably his last big contract, if you were. Now, as far as should the Jets make a move for him, I 100% would. Last time DeAndre Hopkins was traded for himself and a 4th-round pick in exchange for David Johnson, a 2nd-round pick, and a 4th-round pick. So it was really just David Johnson and a 2nd, which is bananas, Bill O'Brien. I wish he was working out of Arizona because I don't know if it's going to be the same kind of deal. It's probably going to be a little different. It'll probably wind up being a 2nd-round pick if I had to guess, because of the age, because of the new contract, all that sort of stuff. I don't think you'll have to give up a proven player for Hopkins. Would I bring him in at 31 years old? Absolutely. Now, as far as Corey Davis and Braxton Berrios are concerned, or not Corey Davis or Braxton Berrios, both guys are in years that you could cut them. You could move on from both of them. So you have Elijah Moore here, you have Garrett Wilson here for the foreseeable future. How do you handle the 2 other receivers in Berrios and Corey Davis? They're both Zach Wilson's, I would say, his 2 favorite targets that we've kind of seen. Obviously, the whole Berrios is good, Zach Wilson is good shirt thing, and then Corey Davis just seems to always be targeted by like every quarterback we have. So I think that is an interesting situation. So what do? Do you wind up trying to move on from Braxton Berrios and Corey Davis? Now, if I am correct, I believe Corey Davis saves you about is it $8 or $10 million? I don't really know off the top of my head. I think it's like $9 million for Corey Davis. Braxton Berrios, I want to say it's like $5 million, if that's right. $5 or $8 million if you cut him next year or this offseason. So it's just interesting to see what we could possibly do and what this wide receiver room could be, because in my opinion, you're missing the big body wide receiver, the guy that you want Corey Davis to be. DeAndre Hopkins is that, but DeAndre Hopkins. He's so much better. He's like one of the best receivers in the NFL. So if you're asking me if I want to have the opportunity to have Zach throw to DeAndre Hopkins, the answer is yes. Or if we could trade for him prior to the free agency deadline, or even ideally prior to in terms prior to Carr being released, I think it would be really cool to try and get DeAndre Hopkins here, so that way we could attract some premier quarterback talent. And now that might be opportunities like Derek Carr if he does not sign too early. Maybe Jimmy Garoppolo wants to throw to Hopkins, Garrett Wilson, and Elijah Moore. That would be a filthy, filthy wide receiver room. And I'm not particularly going out to look for like a big name wide receiver. And $20 million a year is not something I particularly want. But I think if you can guarantee him these 2 while you have all your young guys under contract, I think you have to get the quarterback position figured out first and foremost. And I think our defense is just fine. Yeah, I mean, I think you can move money around. If there's anything I've learned about the NFL, the salary cap is a myth. You can move money around to future years restructure, guys. If you want to make DeAndre Hopkins fit under your salary cap, you can make it work. Basically, cutting Corey Davis and Braxton Berrios is going to save you almost the entirety of that money. I think it's $15 million between the two of them. So yes, 100%. I would cut both Berrios and Corey Davis to get DeAndre Hopkins, and then I would just figure it out from there, and hopefully a quarterback wants to come here. In worst case scenario, we got the best wide receiver trio in the country. In the event we have to go with like the worst case scenario quarterback option, which I don't exactly know what that would be. But it's going to make us finding a quarterback a little bit easier, I think. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you want to sign DeAndre Hopkins? Do you want to trade for him? Do you want to sign him to a new contract? What do you think happens with the whole situation? Where do you think he winds up going? Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, go Jets.